I say shit like, oh, we're all ugly to somebody, I shut the fuck up because, bitch, I'm not ugly to a motherfucking soul. I may not be your type, but I'm not ugly. So to be ugly to you is wild. I don't agree with that.
Dear Diary, I almost beat this bitch up today at work, but I didn't. I prayed to God about it, and God led me to the right way. But it's only so many prayers I can do before I whoop that ass, because I'm not going to keep bothering God.
You're ugly. Those were the last words Cantrelle Hayes-Ross heard before her ex-boyfriend pulled the trigger. Ugly. A 34-year-old woman who owned a thriving daycare business.
17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
A woman who had just spent months paying his bills, feeding him, giving him a place to stay after he got out of prison. A woman who helped him reconnect with his kids, get into job training, and rebuild his life from nothing. And the man calling her ugly? 31-year-old Terrell Nelson. No job, no money, no car, no home. A criminal record with 10 arrests. A man who had been in and out of prison his entire adult life. Look at him. Really look at him. This man had the nerve to call her ugly. But here's what makes this story infuriating. If Cantrell was so ugly to him, if he truly believed she had no value, why couldn't he just leave when she ended things? What was he really losing? A woman he claimed to find unattractive? Or the only person who saw something in him when the rest of the world had given up? Cantrelle Hayes-Ross was thriving in Savannah, Georgia. At 34, she owned Friend Zone Learning, a daycare that had families on a waiting list. The building on Augusta Avenue stood out because Cantrell had painted it herself. Bright colors, butterflies, flowers covering the exterior. The kind of place where you could immediately tell children were loved there. Parents would show up to pick up their kids and find them asking to stay. Story time, art projects, games where every single child got involved. During the pandemic, when families lost internet access, Cantrell personally delivered activity packets to their homes. When the daycare budget got tight, she paid for supplies out of her own pocket. Everyone who knew Cantrell said the same thing. Outgoing, full of energy. The person you wanted around. A neighbor needed emergency child care. She handled it. A family was struggling with medical bills. She organized a fundraiser. Someone needed to talk through a hard time. She made time. Friend Zone Learning was doing so well that Cantrell started looking at locations for a second center. On social media, she posted constantly. Videos with the kids, updates about the business, her personality on full display. She was confident, vocal, completely herself. In one video, she's out celebrating, joking that she's about to turn 34 but looks 26. In another, she's at the daycare surrounded by kids telling her they love her. That energy, that warmth, that was Cantrell. She posted this.
If you want to know what a motherfucking boss looks like, bitch, you looking at one. A bitch that handles big business.
Cantrell knew her worth. She knew what she brought to the table, and she believed people deserved chances to change. So when she met Terrell Nelson in early 2024, she gave him one. Terrell Nelson was 31 years old. By the time he met Cantrell, he'd been arrested 10 times. His first arrest came at 19. Simple battery after a nightclub fight. He got probation. Things only got worse from there. By 2016, his record included drug possession, criminal trespass, and battery against a former girlfriend. She dropped the charges, but the arrests kept coming. In 2013, Terrell was charged with murder. A man had been shot and killed on his front porch. Terrell and another man were both charged. Both were later acquitted. But being charged with murder tells you the level of violence around Terrell's life. His most serious conviction came in 2019 for aggravated assault. He attacked a man he believed was involved with his girlfriend at the time. The victim suffered a broken jaw and a fractured eye socket. Terrell was sentenced to 3 years, but only served 18 months before being released on parole in early 2021. When he met Cantrell in 2024, he was still on parole, still under supervision. Still a man with absolutely nothing going for him. No job, no income, no stability, nothing. In February 2024, Cantrell made it official on social media. She posted photos from their Valentine's Day date, the two of them together, dressed up for the occasion. She looked happy. In the captions, she wrote about relationships and making time for each other. Clearly, she was excited about where this was going. But people around Cantrell started seeing something in those photos. In every picture she posted, Terrell's face was blank. No smile, no emotion. He looked uncomfortable, disconnected. Friends later said they noticed it right away. One described his energy as off, like something didn't sit right. Another said, you could tell just by looking that he wasn't invested in her the way she was invested in him. Cantrell was all in. Terrell was just there. And while Cantrell was busy falling in love and building someone up, Terrell was busy getting comfortable. She paid his bills. She fed him. She gave him money. She supported him emotionally while he gave her nothing in return. By summer 2024, Cantrell saw it clearly. She was giving everything and getting nothing back. And Terrell? He didn't take that well. Terrell started commenting on her posts, asking her to delete pictures of them together. Someone in the comments asked him, why you scared to show love to your wifey? Cantrell responded, he bitter because I'm moving on with my life after being drained mentally, emotionally, and physically. I know my worth, and one thing about me, nothing is worth your sanity. I have poured out my cup so much for him, and now that my cup is empty, he won't even give me a sip back. I feel used and abused, and now I'm repairing myself. I refuse to believe that I have to go through all this mess to be with someone. I don't have to delete anything because you went to every video knowing what you lost. Child, goodbye. Terrell replied, I really didn't lose anything, but okay, be good. God bless you. Read that again. I really didn't lose anything. After months of this woman taking care of him, feeding him, housing him, supporting him, he had the audacity to say he lost nothing. But his actions told a different story. After that exchange, things got worse. Terrell started calling her ugly, publicly putting her down, acting like he was never interested in her in the first place. Cantrell didn't respond. She kept her focus on the daycare and on herself. She was done. She'd moved on completely. She wasn't posting about the relationship anymore. She wasn't engaging with Terrell. She was focused on her business and preparing for the holidays. Terrell hadn't moved on. Months went by, and he still hadn't accepted that it was over. And here's where the story gets dark. Because if Cantrell was so ugly to him, if he truly believed she had no value, why was he still watching her every move? Why was he still bothered by her living her life without him? The answer is simple. It was never about her appearance. It was about control. Cantrell had something Terrell never had. Success, stability, respect, money, and for months, he had access to all of it through her. When she cut him off, when she decided her peace mattered more than his comfort, she took away the one thing he valued, not her resources. And when a man like Terrell loses access to resources, when a woman who's been holding him up decides she's tired of carrying dead weight, he doesn't just walk away. He destroys. November 27th, 2024, the night before Thanksgiving. Cantrell was at Friend Zone Learning that evening. The daycare was closed for the holiday, but she was there using the kitchen to prepare food for her family. A friend was with her. They sat outside, while Cantrell went in and out checking on the cooking. Terrell showed up unannounced. They argued. He wanted another chance. She told him no. According to reports, he called her ugly. Then he pulled out a gun and fired multiple times. Cantrell was struck and collapsed outside the daycare she had built with her own hands. When police arrived, Cantrell was pronounced dead. Terrell had already left. Investigators immediately identified him as the primary suspect. Surveillance footage from nearby businesses and statements from Cantrell's friend who witnessed the shooting led them directly to Terrell Nelson. Less than 24 hours later, on Thanksgiving Day, police found him at a relative's home in Savannah. He was taken into custody without incident. Terrell was charged with malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. The judge denied him bond. He sat in jail awaiting trial. 3 days after Thanksgiving, hundreds gathered outside Friend Zone Learning for a candlelight vigil. Balloons and Cantrells. Favorite colors filled the evening air. Parents whose children had been under her care stood alongside community members who'd never met her, but felt the loss of what she represented. Cantrell's mother spoke to reporters about her daughter's journey. She said Cantrell was trained in childcare and always wanted her own daycare. She said, "My mama do it. I didn't hesitate. I knew she was going to do it. These kids were her life. They were her life. She was an outgoing person. She was real alive, always the fun of the bunch." The daycare remained closed. The butterflies and flowers on the exterior walls stood as a reminder of what Cantrell had built and what had been taken away. In January 2025, Terrell Nelson appeared in court. He pleaded not guilty to all charges. His defense team didn't dispute that Terrell shot Cantrell. They argued it was a heated argument that escalated, not premeditated murder. Prosecutors presented a different picture. They showed the pattern of harassment after the breakup, the social media comments, the reported verbal abuse, the "you're ugly" comment moments before he pulled the trigger. They argued this wasn't a moment of passion. This was a man who couldn't accept that a woman had chosen herself over him. The trial lasted 3 weeks. In March 2025, the jury returned with a verdict: guilty on all counts. Terrell Nelson was sentenced to life without parole. He showed no emotion when the sentence was read. After the sentencing, Cantrell's family spoke to the media. Her sister described Cantrell as someone who saw the best in people, even when others didn't. Someone who believed everyone deserved a chance to change. She gave him that chance, her sister said, and he took her life for it. The case sparked conversations across social media about the danger women face when they try to leave relationships, how rejection can turn deadly when men view women as possessions rather than people, and how many times this same story plays out with different names. People kept asking, if Terrell thought Cantrell was so ugly, why couldn't he just let her go? Why did her decision to walk away threaten him so much that he felt entitled to end her life? According to experts in intimate partner violence, the answer is clear. It was never about her appearance. It was never about love. It was about control. And when Cantrell took that control back, when she decided she was worth more than what he was giving, he couldn't handle it. Some men don't fall in love. They find someone to use. And when that person sets boundaries, when that person finally says enough, they see it as betrayal, as abandonment, as something that must be punished. Cantrelle Hayes-Ross built a business from nothing. She gave back to her community in ways big and small. She believed in second chances and in the power of support to change lives. She didn't deserve to die for choosing herself. The man who called her ugly is spending life in prison. The woman he said meant nothing was everything he had. Know these signs. A partner who depends on you completely but shows no appreciation. Someone who becomes hostile when you set boundaries. A person who can't let go after you've ended things. Public disrespect that escalates. These patterns are dangerous. If you're trying to leave a situation like this, don't do it alone. Tell people. Make a plan. The moment you take your power back is often the most dangerous moment. Rest in peace, Cantrelle Hayes-Ross. Your community remembers you.